Do you live with the fear of death on a daily basis? Are you going through every single day of your life trying to protect your body from the worst possible scenario? Well, friends, today's video is about this, so let's dive in. Welcome to another important video on my channel and a very important topic today, my friends. Before I get into it, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you want to learn more about any of my anxiety recovery programs, click here at any time throughout the video. Now, we are diving deep into something that perpetuates the health anxiety pattern each and every day. And that is that this idea of dying pops its head up. No matter what idea may show up, because we tend to connect any idea to the potential death of us, any feeling, any symptom, any sensation. Next thing you know, we go about our days, not even realizing what we're doing, what we're thinking, who we're with. We don't realize any of those things because we're so fixated on the potential of dying at this very moment. And I want to dive deep into this because this is no way to live your life. You know, many people who go through life with so much fear of death don't really interact with their environments. And time passes very, very quickly. Time passes very, very quickly. You find that in the morning there's this huge onslaught of the fear of death. In the afternoon, you're doing your best to interact with the world and do what you have to do. But deep down, there's so much turmoil. There's so much chaos. And there are so many what if question marks that happen. Sometimes in the evening, we get a break because we've been fighting so very hard all day long with the fear of death. And then sleep comes around and we start questioning ourselves again. And the next morning, the cycle begins again. Now, towards the end of this video, I want to share with you a very important key point that will start to reverse this. And that's what we want. We want to reverse this. We want to see what's really taking place here at a deeper level, not from the perspective of the ego mind or the lower self that wants to keep you in a protective state known as the fear of dying. Right? We don't want that. We don't want to be led by that. We want to be free of that. And not only that, but any pattern, any habit, mental, emotional, physical, behavioral, imaginative, any habit that aligns with the ego mind, the lower self. So understand this. There is always relentless mental and physical misinterpretations. Okay? Relentless mental, physical misinterpretations. Here's how it usually goes. Physically, we have auto triggers. Okay? So when an anxiety sufferer gets to a point where they have passed their threshold of stress and, their body's starting to go, well, okay, well, I guess everything we do, whoever we're with, no matter where we are, is a potential hazard, a threatening experience. And there is a potential of dying at any given moment because this person has unconsciously and consciously conditioned us, the body, to respond this way. So if you're going about your day right now, you have to understand that there are auto triggers. A lot of people think that anxiety sufferers consciously think their way into physical distraught and turmoil, sensations and symptoms. Not necessarily. The conscious mind is the last to really know what the heck is going on. Oh, that's taking place. But way before that, there are a lot of things that your unconsciousness is doing, right? It's surveying your environment. It's surveying what's going to take place next. right? It's always preparing itself to send the signals through the body in case some kind of a threat in terms of a color or in terms of a sound or in terms of a person or in terms of potential conflict, anything that the body feels like it needs to protect you from, it will spur on these sensations and symptoms, right? So understand that, yes, right now you're going through the physical aspect of the fear of dying, and this is related to the auto triggers, right? Auto triggers. Do not be distraught by these things when they show up because they are automatic. They are outside of your conscious control initially, but they are in your control in terms of how you decide you're going to interpret these auto triggers coming from the body in terms of sensations and symptoms. You get to choose how you interpret them, how you perceive them, and what you do in those initial moments when you are aware of these things, right? And of course, there are the mental misinterpretations, which are physical death, right? Physical death. Health anxiety sufferers die 1,000,000 times a day, right? I mean, literally, like if you get 60,000 thoughts and potentially those thoughts branch out to other thoughts, can you imagine how many ideas cross your mind on a daily basis? And how many of these ideas that the physical body takes so very seriously? Of course, the ones you focus on and give energy to, right? But mentally, it's always, oh God, there's this stomach thing, and what could that be? And of course, when you think about the stomach thing, what tends to happen is your unconsciousness sorts through all the filing cabinets of history and goes, okay, what's the most treacherous, most dangerous thing in relation to this muscle symptom or this stomach symptom? What's the worst that could happen? This, based on the emotional experience that the person had when they Googled what that symptom was last time, right? So then the mind goes, okay, we have to protect from the worst possible scenario, right? And in order for that to happen, we have to make sure that all doors are closed. This person cannot go into any other environment than the one they're in right now. So more sensations, more symptoms, more thoughts, right? And again, let me share with you again that we often don't have control over the initial mental interpretation over what we're physically feeling. But as Buddha once said, automatically we are thrown the initial dart, right? The initial occurrence, the concern, the turmoil, the thing that happened on the outside. However, we get to choose whether we throw a second dart and a third dart and so on and so forth. I am paraphrasing, of course, my friends, okay? Now, you may feel like you're always preparing for death, right? You're always preparing for death. And this is an interesting one. At this point in my journey, I can chuckle about it because I'm beyond these ideas. I'm beyond these belief systems. And maybe you're getting there as well. I hope you are. But there was a time in my life where I was always preparing for death. Where was I going to be buried? Who was going to show up to my funeral? How was it going to go? Should I leave a note? Right? And all these things, I prepared and prepared, right? And all that preparation took me away from living, right? So much of the fear of death, so much focus, so much energy that's given to this and the preparation to die, right, can really suck the life right out of you. And what happens is we begin to become out of touch with reality. Now, you don't understand this, but you need to. Listen up. The way you're going about your life isn't real. But it feels real, Dennis, right? Yeah, but those feelings are not real either. But I am feeling them. Yeah, because it's kind of like logs on a fire. If you continue second dart, third dart, fourth dart, continue to place more logs on that initial fire that you set unconsciously, then the fire will continue to burn. But the moment you take the logs off that fire, the fire will start to subside. That's where reflection starts to come in. But understand that right now you are out of touch with reality. You are out of touch. And I'm not saying that to put you down. I'm saying that so that you can understand that the way you're living your life and the way you're interpreting you and the way you're interpreting life and the way you're interpreting your upcoming day and even the way you're interpreting your past is all flawed. And it's flawed because this lower self, this ego mind, wants it to stay flawed. It can only survive if things continue to be chaotic. And that's where the rubber hits the road, where you start to go, there may be two sides to me. There's the ego mind or the lower self. Then there's the higher self or the intuitive side of me. And the intuitive side of me likes to live. And the intuitive side of me still has that playfulness within me that can look at the fear of dying and go, I'll let my future self handle that. Thank you very much, right? And you actually have the power to start this particular interpretation and make it stronger as the days go on. Oh, sensation. Oh, thought around it. Oh, I'll let my future self handle this. Hey, sensation, you can stick around for as long as you want. I'm about to go and do a little dance routine on my own. If you want to join me, come on, right? You can literally live your life with these sensations in the background, with these ideas in the background, with the feelings in the background. You can live your life this way, and as you live your life this way on a continuous basis, and you are very sincere in the way you're living. That's a very important word, sincerity. Because if you're faking it to make it, then there's always going to be someone beside you, part of you, going, is it working? Am I becoming free? Is the anxiety going away? Do I still have a fear of death? Right? And as long as you continue to check in on your progress all the time and checking in to see, is it working? Then it's not going to work. That's not sincerely living, right? Sincerely living through your heart is truly believing that the way you're living today, that potential has always been within you, but clouded by the ego mind. And so we understand that we're currently out of touch with reality, and we're starting to get back in touch with reality through a sincere way of living our lives again. And the key here, I promised you a key, right? The key here that we need to start adopting is this. Refocus your attention towards what you are creating rather than what you're trying to protect from happening. So, like I said, all these elements of health anxiety, the fear of dying and all that sort of stuff that wants to pull your attention in that direction, all of that, right, is from the past and used to take up your focus. It's all related to protectiveness, right? You felt the need to protect your body for so many months and years now, and you've lived your life in so much tension, bracing at every single moment, right? So now we realize that, and now we start to pull our attention, our focus towards creating. Now, who am I? Let us get to a point again where we are creating the kind of belief systems that go against the fear of death. So what do these look like? The dying can be safe. Dying can be a transition for my soul, right? Dying can take me home. These are the sorts of interpretations, and I'm not talking spiritual, religious, whatever, but it's just an interpretation. These are the sorts of things that get you back to living again and creating, right? So we're creating things. We're creating new, militant spiritual practices on a daily basis. We're creating a sound meditative practice in a corner that's only dedicated to that meditative practice. We're spending more time in silence. We're lightly and gently walking on this planet rather than rushing and stomping on the ground. No, we're respecting planet Earth, right? We realize that we are all oneness with each other, so I'm no longer going to compete with other people. I'm going to cooperate with other people. Therefore, even if somebody ridicules me or wants to create conflict, you right now can create a different response and say, well, you know what? I hope that you find peace one day, right? And I disagree with you in that way. And you can go about your life this way, constantly creating the new you. And when I mean creating, I'm not talking really about like molding you. I'm more so talking about getting back to what's been within you the whole time. But in terms of perspective, creating that, okay? So my friends, you can begin to live your life away from the fear of dying, right? Each and every moment of your day. You can begin to interpret these sensations and symptoms differently. You no longer have to live through the same interpretation that you took on yesterday. You no longer have to have an idea and follow that idea, right? You can actually have an idea and go, oh, there's an idea. And often what tends to happen is as long as you don't feed the idea or branch off from that initial idea to another idea, it tends to subside, right? So take yourself out of doership, move into non-doership, slow down and understand that the power is within you. The power to choose one thought over another is within you. The power to stop protecting your body from all potential harms and moving it towards creation, the creation of sound health, is within you. And that truly comes from love, and it starts with you. Unconditional love for yourself, appreciation and acceptance starting right now because you deserve it, and that's what you truly are, my friends. I'd like you to comment below and let me know your more than anxiety moment right here and right now. I can't wait to listen in your comments and more than anxiety moments. And let's have a discussion between all of us. If you get a chance, please share this video with others who are just not living their lives, but always protecting from the fear of death. Share this video with them, please, and it would make a massive difference for me. And just remember that you are more than anxiety, and I know that you're starting to believe it. See you soon.